welcome to my YouTube channel, One Race, the Human Race, All Human. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Three Kings Day, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Life. Well, back in May 2020, the President Trump, was not in favor of the HEROES Act, and neither was Senator Mitch McConnell or the GOP. So it didn't get passed. It got passed by the House of Representatives, by the Democrats, but not by the Senate. And then there was a turnaround recently. Let's take a look.
News as lawmakers on Capitol Hill are waiting to see what the president will do with their $900 billion coronavirus relief bill as two pandemic unemployment programs expire today. Please help us. That is the message to the president and Congress for millions of Americans who are now just hours away from heading over a financial cliff.
Don't forget that the Democrats passed a $3 trillion bill back in May 2020.
And joining me now is California Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democratic member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees, and a good friend to us. Welcome, sir. It's good to see you. So look, as millions of Americans are bracing for a loss of benefits, how do you see this playing out? What is a realistic timeline now? Because this bill is sitting on the president's desk.
Thank you, Alex, for your question. I just read a story about Nicole Craig, an unemployed mother of two children in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The food stamps that she used to buy food is running out, and she now doesn't know how to make her ends meet. She spent the last $7 in her bank account to buy tinsel for her Christmas tree because she didn't want her baby to miss.
I want you to remember that there are 66 million poor or low-wealth white Americans, okay? More than African Americans. It doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, but this is the data. These are facts. That's why during the Poor People's Campaign, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was bringing together all people, poor whites, poor African Americans, Latinos, Asians, everyone. Go back and read his speech on the other America, because we're still dealing with poverty. Poverty should be ended throughout the entire world.
It's his first Christmas. So millions of Americans are suffering, and you got Donald Trump golfing at his private elite club. This is really a chaos presidency. I hope Donald Trump signs the COVID relief bill, and then he can sign the additional legislation to get the stimulus checks to $2,000 that the House is going to pass this week.
So that's how it could get done in your mind, because the president is actually getting some good marks, if you will, because he wants this bill amended with two.
Now, you should know, and many Americans do not know or do not realize, that in Canada, they've been getting, what, $2,000 checks a month in other parts of the world? All right? They've been taking care of their citizens. We should have been doing that here in America months ago, right, with respect to this virus. And we should have been doing it decades ago with respect to ending poverty in America.
$1,000 checks. The House GOP blocking that effort, which Democrats agreed to. Certainly, Democrats are going to try again Monday to get approval for more money for Americans. But do you have any predictions on this? Do you think your Republican colleagues are going to try to block this effort again?
So on Thursday, the Republicans blocked it because the only procedure we could use during what's known as a pro forma week was unanimous consent. That meant Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy could block it, and he did. However, this Monday, the House is going to do a full vote. And if we get a majority vote for the $2,000, which we will, then we're going to pass that bill and send it over to the Senate. So I think Republicans are going to mostly vote against it, but we're still going to be able to pass it to the Senate.
Here's what's interesting, because when making his request for the bigger stimulus checks, the president criticized the relief effort. Take a listen.
It's called the COVID relief bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt, $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments.
So, a couple ways to look at this. First of all, what do you make of the president's criticism? Weren't some of those items that he's ticking off one by one actually from his own budget proposal? I mean, do you think that he doesn't realize this? But was he making a point that get relief to Americans, that alone could have been something that would have been addressed by this bill?
You make a great point, Alex. I don't know why Donald Trump was complaining about himself, because those requests came from his own budget. And there are two things going on. There's a COVID relief package, and then there's our annual spending bill that funds government, make sure we don't shut down. And included in there is foreign aid, which his administration requested, and both Democratic and Republican administrations have supported for decades. Because guess what? Foreign aid keeps us from getting into unintentional conflicts. James Mattis, the former Secretary of Defense, said that if you don't fully fund the State Department, then he's got to buy more bullets. So yes, there was an annual spending bill with foreign aid in there, and there's also a COVID relief package. Donald Trump is just confused.
So going back to the question that the president raised as to whether the COVID relief bill is doing enough for Americans, some of your Democratic colleagues have shared similar views. You have Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who says that the bill leaves crumbs for those who need help most. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says members of Congress didn't have enough time to read this bill. It is more than 5,000 pages, we should note. So ultimately, what happened here?
What happened is we were negotiating with the White House, and the White House kept saying, no, they don't want additional amounts for stimulus checks. In fact, they had offered $500. We were able to get it up to $600. But they hid the fact that Donald Trump wanted $2,000. So something was going on with the White House where they were hiding this information from Congress.
So you're saying that the White House was telling you something that did not reflect what the president wanted, or is it possible the White House was negotiating without consulting the president and then would just bring him in at the end? I mean, do we know how that's been typically handled over the last 4 years?
That's a great point. It's certainly possible that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, who we were negotiating with, was just making stuff up, and that he was imposing his own views instead of that of the president. We're never going to know. We just know this was a chaotic presidency, and that at this point, Donald Trump just doesn't care. He's playing golf at his private club. And if he doesn't sign this bill today, the $300 in enhanced federal unemployment benefits will not go into effect for an additional week. That means 1 week will absolutely be gone if he doesn't sign this bill today in terms of unemployment benefits.
Here's something we know the president cares about as we talk about the presidential pardons from this week.
Well, so this is an example of the Southern strategy and where it has come to at this point, where you have what? White Americans who voted against their own self-interest, and now they need those checks, okay? But yet, when it came time to vote, they voted against their own self-interest. And they use race to divide and try to conquer people. But with the Poor People's Campaign led by Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, and Reverend Theo Harris, things are changing, okay, where people are coming together and recognizing that it's not about the color of your skin, it's about values, it's about helping one another, it's about one race, the human race, and that everyone in this world has a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Included Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, multiple other people caught up in the Mueller-Russia probe, as well as some allies from Congress. What do you make of these pardons, Congressman?
As a foreign prosecutor, these pardons are utterly disgraceful. And these are folks that committed serious felonies. So Paul Manafort was convicted of a number of felonies, including bank fraud, tax fraud, obstruction of justice. No ordinary American could have gotten these pardons, and they all got them because they were friends of Donald Trump. It's one reason the American people fired Donald Trump, because he repeatedly put himself and his friends above our country. Now, in the case of Paul Manafort, there's also state charges that could be filed against him, and the president cannot pardon him for those charges. So I expect that Paul Manafort could still see prison time.
Friends, colleagues, potential family inside, I want to talk about the president pardoning those 4 Blackwater security guards. They were convicted in the killing of 14 Iraqi civilians. That included children, the wounding of 17 others. What went through your mind when you heard of those pardons? What kind of message do you think that sends to Iraq?
Sadness, also shame. These folks fired indiscriminately and killed children. as young as 9 years old. There was really no reason for them to do that, and they were convicted of these war crimes. These are murders of civilians, and for Donald Trump to pardon them really is a sad day for America. I taught the law of armed conflict when I served in active duty in the U.S. military. It's very clear that those folks, had they been military, they would have been court-martialed as well. And so we really experienced a sad and tragic day when Donald Trump decided to pardon them for their crimes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to leave it on that note, but I must for this time. Thank you very much, California.
Dr. King said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Everyone in the world has a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Everyone has a right to breathe. Everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to enjoy this planet. And we must stand for love, compassion, concern for one another.
Congressman Ted Lieu, good to see you. Appreciate it.